All right, the Reds, it is the preview show, previewing Liverpool v West Ham, Saturday, R5 at Anfield. Feels like a great time for a game of football. Means you can have a bevy before and get in the mood, get yourself where you need to be to get behind what is a brilliant Liverpool side that we're witnessing at this moment. Got Fuad with me to talk about this game. Liverpool in good form, West Ham not so much so. The Reds, of course, progressing into the quarterfinals, the FA Cup. West Ham, though, knocked out and not happy about being knocked out. They haven't won a cup since 1980. And the manager, David Moyes, after the match was really getting stuck in about them not looking a threat in front of goal and that kind of thing. And that sort of plays out if you look into the stats recently as well. Lots of 0.6 and 0.8 in terms of expected goals and stuff like that. So they haven't really been doing it in front of goal recently. And Fuad, you know, they've been talked up all season about, you know, potentially getting into the Champions League places and things like that. But you look at it right now, they're in 5th place, 45 points, 2 behind Man United, same number of games played. And it looks like it's unravelling a bit for them now. Yeah,
I think the thing with West Ham and what we noticed, you know, last year when they really kind of became that shock team and came up the table from, you know, from relatively out of nowhere, you know, that they struggled the season before. I think there was a bit of a relegation battle. But the one thing that's sort of been the main thing for them, the most important thing, is consistency in lineup, and I feel like that's changed a little bit. I see Koufal's out injured, who's been a real big part of that. There's a bit of change of dynamic, I think, in the forward positions, the likes of Ben Rama coming in the team, and players like that where, you know, before we saw the midfield being able to contribute more in terms of goals. Souček was one always, wasn't he, last year, where he was getting forward, and this season that seems to have dried up a little bit. So I think there's been a little bit of a evolution maybe, but not necessarily working out in terms of scoring goals and maintaining that solidity that they had before. So I think they've just struggled with consistency, and the squad is maybe not as deep as maybe people thought earlier on in the season. And you know, we talk about European football and how that affects sides. You know, if you don't have the squad for it and being playing the amount of games that they've had to play, you know, that will have an effect as well. So it's sort of expected a little bit, the expectation as well that comes with we're trying to challenge for that top 4. I know a lot of the players have been very, you know, bullish about it and saying, you know, we belong up here. But you know, the mentality shifts from being a team when you're the underdogs to then really thinking that you have a chance. You know, that does become a bit of pressure definitely on some of the players who maybe aren't used to it before. So I think there's been a combination of things really, and you know, look, hopefully the Reds can exploit that on Saturday, because they aren't in a great place. There aren't that many goals. Yes, Bowen's a good player, and his numbers have been great this season. He's top in the assists, top in goals. But the Reds should, you know, the form they're in, you'd fancy them against anyone at this stage, let alone a West Ham side that has been struggling. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, West Ham come to Anfield as 7-1 shots to claim a victory. And you know, the last time they beat us was the 3-0 under Brendan Rodgers. And all that aside, I think it's like 48 games that we've triumphed over West Ham. In general, they've been a side that we've enjoyed a lot of success against. I mean, backing up what you're saying, Phil, the results since the turn of the year for West Ham, there's only 5 victories in there, and they're Crystal Palace away, Leeds and Norwich at home, Watford at home, and Wolves at home is a good result, to be fair to them. And then they're, you know, they just about get past Kidderminster in the FA Cup. They draw with Leicester away, they draw with Newcastle at home, and they've been beaten by Leeds at home. They were beaten at Old Trafford by Man United 1-0, and of course, as I mentioned, knocked out of the FA Cup by Southampton this week. Interestingly about that game as well, the game just gone for them, you know, they only made 2 changes for Southampton. We made 10. And I think that again is back on what you said before, Fuad, about the strength of squad. But you know, you would think again it means that Liverpool have got legs in this game. We've got options from the bench on 60 again, like we've seen Klopp regularly take. It's going to be an incredibly difficult task for them, and I think I'd sort of like rather concentrate on that than saying, oh well, they're one of the better sides in the league and they beat us earlier in the season. I'm looking at it more saying, well, hang on, they won't want to be coming here, to be honest with you. We're the only unbeaten side in the league now at home. We have scored 36 in our 13 home league games, only conceded 7, which is the best in the league. So, you know, it's a tough task for them. And, you know, the game away, which I'm sure will be in people's minds and they'll be worrying about it a little bit, I still say they got a bit fortunate with that. You know, they obviously had a bit of a tactic around the set pieces, and it worked, and it troubled us, and Alisson didn't have his best day. But, you know, we go and score 2 good goals, and Sadio Mane should score right near the end as well. So, you know, a draw was probably a fair result, and I don't think it's reflected
All right, the Reds, thanks very much for getting stuck into that little snippet there of Anfield Wrap content. If you want the rest of that show and much more besides, click the link below, subscribe to the Anfield Wrap Premium, and for that you will get reviews, previews, exclusive interviews, post-match content, the full it. Get involved, follow us, follow them from the heart of Liverpool. Up the Reds.